Hello dear friends of the bass, I'm Toby and I'm back with my Harley Benton MV-4 PJ. I've put some new pickups in it. These are the EMG GZR Butler PJ pickups, and of course I've recorded some samples with the stock pickups as well as with the new ones. I've tried to make that as much about the pickups as possible, so I've used the same set of strings with very little playing time between the two recordings. I've measured the string height above the pickups with the stock pickups and adjusted the new pickups to match that as closely as possible. And then I recorded directly into my audio interface using the exact same settings for both sets of pickups. So I'm not using any preamp or effects or plugins or whatever. This is just the raw sound out of the bass. So enough talking, let's hear them. So when I first listened to these two samples, I thought, well, they sound the same and they are pretty close, and I think the Roswell stock pickups are pretty good. But as I listened multiple times and listened closely, I started to detect some differences. I think the EMGs sound a little bit tighter with more focus on the mid-range, whereas the Roswells sound have a little bit more low end to it. But they are still very similar. And this changes if we start using the tone blend. So if you start using the tone blend, and especially if you dial it back all the way, there's a big difference in sound. But that hasn't really to do with the pickups, but with the tone pot itself. I used the EMG pots which come with the pickups, and the tone pot has a 22 nanofarad capacitor attached to it, whereas the stock tone pot has a 68 nanofarad capacitor. So that's a big difference, and of course you can hear that. I'm in favor of the EMG version. I think the 68 nanofarad is just too much. You lose all the treble if you dial that back all the way, and I don't really like that. But that's some kind of personal taste thing. Next, let's listen to the P pickup soloed. I think you're getting a great P-bass tone with both pickups. As before, there's just a slight difference. I think again the Roswell has a little bit more low end, whereas the EMG has kind of a little mid boost to it. Of course, I've tried these pickups with the tone blend as well. I think with the tone fully closed, the EMG pickup gets some kind of extra mid-range growl to it, and I quite like that. Now let's listen to the J pickup soloed. With the jazz pickups, I think the difference in sound is a bit more obvious. The Roswell sounds a bit hollow and thin, whereas the EMG has kind of a rounder tone to it. Now let's try the tone control. Now it's time for some pig sounds. I think it's more obvious with the pig that especially with both pickups or the P pickup, the Roswells have a little bit more low end and kind of a slight mid scoop, whereas the EMGs have a little less low end and more mids. By itself, the Roswell sounds better, I think, but in a band situation, I think the EMGs will cut better through the mix. Finally, let's listen to some very simple slap tones. So with slapping, I think the Roswells sound a little bit better. Normally you would cut back the mids a little bit and boost the bass and treble on your amplifier when slapping. The Roswells have this built in, so that's kind of an advantage for them. So here are my final thoughts on these pickups. I think both sets of pickups sound pretty good. They are not that much different. I think these are both vintage styled pickups, so they sound quite similar. So if you're looking for a significant change in tone, then you should get other pickups than the EMGs. One advantage of the EMGs is of course that you have a hum cancelling J pickup, which is very nice. I also like the wiring kit, which is completely solderless and worked really fine for an easy installation. And I also like the tone pot with the smaller capacitor much more than the original one. But this is just my opinion. Please let me know what you think of these pickups and leave a comment below. I hope you liked this little video. If so, please hit that like button. Thank you for watching and see you the next time.